Hello everyone, I am back again. If you have noticed, I might be wearing the same outfit I wore in some of my other videos. You are not fooling yourself. I recorded quite a few videos within one day. So I want to roll today. Today I'm going to be talking about my biggest minimalist struggle. This is the one thing in my life that I really haven't been able to minimize. Well, not completely. I have been able to minimize some, but not completely to the point that I would like. And that's basically my money, my finances. You know, I follow a lot of minimalist people, and I'm always impressed by those who have been able to pay off like thousands of dollars of debt. You know, I'm really encouraged by them, but I'm just not at that point yet. And I'm just trying to be okay with not being at that point. And it's definitely something that I don't generally like to talk about, and you're probably not going to see me make a lot of videos about this. But for the sake of transparency, I'm definitely going to share with you, why this is a struggle for me. So basically, I just want to give you some background. I grew up poor, but it was a comfortable poor. It wasn't like, we were down and out and dirt poor. I've never had to worry about, eating and being clothed, having a place to live, nothing like that. We've always, been, taken care of, but we were still poor. And if it wasn't for the network of, family that we have in the area, maybe I have a different story, but, we've been fortunate in our poverty, so to speak. I didn't even realize really that I was poor. And I guess that I should say thank you to my mother, until I got into high school and I started understanding things, and really seeing, I guess, what I lacked in comparison to my peers. At that time, people were getting cars and stuff, and it just wasn't going to happen for me. And that's when I started to understand, my poverty. Also, when applying to college, which my poverty actually came in handy at that time. But anyway, yeah. So I grew up, like I said, we were poor, but we weren't that bad off. But I definitely did not learn how to manage money well growing up. And, I definitely saw my mother, robbing Peter to pay Paul, the same. And, just moving money around and trying to do the best that she could, but still not being able to, rise up out of that situation. So, and the ironic thing is, even though I saw my mother not necessarily, doing the best with her finances, when I was a child, I actually was pretty good with my money. I saved my money all the time. Like, whether I got it money from, doing well in school or babysitting that I did, all throughout middle school and high school, and I made quite a, good chunk of money babysitting, everybody's kids. I was the go-to babysitter. I would save my money all the time, and I would loan other people money when they didn't have it. So I thought that I knew how to manage my money. But it wasn't until I got to college that I realized that I really didn't. Well, not that I didn't know how to manage money. I knew how to manage a little bit of money. But when I got more money, that's when I realized that I internalized some of the things that I saw my mom doing, and not just my mom, other family members too. I internalized some of the things that I saw them doing, and definitely mismanaged money. So when I got to college, like I said, I'm poor, and I was also smart. I played sports, so I was one of those, good all-around candidates. So I received scholarships, grants, and I was also eligible for loans because I was low income. So you combine all those things together, and it's like financial, you hit a financial gold mine or whatever. So, and I took advantage of that basically. From, I think, and I can't verify this, I would have to go back and look at my records, but where I went wrong is taking the student loan refund money and like not managing it well. So, you know, after I bought my books and took care of any expenses that I had for that semester, I took that rest of the money and pocketed it instead of doing something more wisely with it. And like I said, it was also a matter of having a lot of money that you've never had before, never had access to before, not knowing what to do with it. So what do? You just go buy everything you always wanted to buy when you were poor. You know, and I just wish that I would have been smarter about my money. Like, I probably could have paid for my first year at college with just my scholarships and grants. I probably didn't need the loans, or I probably could have took out fewer loans to help, you know, to help me cover the costs that year. But, you know, I didn't. They were offering me all this money. I'm a poor person who's never had all this money offered to them before, so I took it. And, you know, I went and had fun when I should have been saving it for the following years. And, you know, that continued on through my sophomore and junior years. You know, I was still, even though, you know, tuition was going up a little bit each year and my financial aid was going down a little bit each year, because you know how that works. For my sophomore and junior years, I still had, you know, some money left over every year, at least enough to like buy my books and stuff. And I also started working my sophomore year, so I had extra money from that too that helped me cover sort of whatever spending money that I needed. It wasn't until my senior year actually that I got to a point where my financial aid did not cover my tuition at all. Well, it only covered it for the first year. And I had to actually, it only covered it for, I'm sorry, not the first year, it only covered it for the first semester of my senior year. And I had to pay out of my own pocket with my own money. No, I didn't have enough financial aid to even buy my books. And I didn't actually end up buying that many books. I actually checked them out from the library, which is something I wish I had learned earlier to save me money. But yeah, my spring, so the last semester of my senior year, I was like $1,500 short for that tuition that year. So, you know, I had to get money put together from my family and my church at the time in order to finish college, and that really scared me because, like, the one thing I always wanted to do was go to college. You know, I was the first person in my family to go to college, so the fact that I ran out of money should have been enough to make me wake up, but it wasn't. So after college, I went to graduate school for 1 year, so I racked up a little bit of debt with that because even though I had an assistantship, it was not enough. You know, I wasn't living on campus or anything like that. I had my own apartment, had to go buy my own groceries and things like that. I didn't have a meal plan like I had in college, so the stipend that they gave was not enough. So I did end up taking out more loans just for living expenses in graduate school. So that was more money added on to that. And then I also went to art school for 1 year. And art school was private school, private institution, the Art Institute of Philadelphia. And since I already had a bachelor's degree, I wasn't eligible for a lot of the grants and things that I was able to get in undergrad, and I also wasn't eligible for the loans either because I already had a bachelor's degree. So basically I had to take out a private student loan, which was like probably the worst mistake of my educational career. So I had to take out a private loan for that 1 year, and that private loan was more expensive than all of the 5 previous years, or it was all the same. That 1 year for the private loan was equal to my total loans from all the previous 5 years. So yeah, that's what happened. So I had all the student loan debt, and from there I went on, I got jobs, and I was making money, paying my debt if if it wasn't being deferred or anything. But I still hadn't quite learned my lessons about managing money. And like whenever I would like get a job making a little bit more money than I was making before, oftentimes that money will be spent on just unnecessary stuff. Clothes and just going out too much and just stuff like that. So it really wasn't, I would say, until my late 20s, which is only a few years ago, like 29 to be exact, and I'm 32 today, so 3 years ago. That's when I really sort of grew up, so to speak, or matured in a financial sense, where I realized that what I had been doing for the past 10 years or so was not working for me. And it's also around the time when I started my minimalist journey. But the thing that was different this time is that at that age, about 29, that's, like I said, it's when I started my minimalist journey, but it was also a time when I was fed up with the 9-to-5 grind, and I knew that life wasn't for me. So I really had a choice to make. I could pursue my minimalist, ideas, which, like I said in other videos, I didn't know I was doing minimalism at the time. At the time, I just felt unhappy. I had everything that I should want in life, but I wasn't happy with any of it, and I definitely wasn't happy with, my career at the time. So, I was at a crossroads. I could keep working this job or another type of job similar to it, keep paying my bills for the rest of my life, or I don't know, till whenever. Or I could start following my passions and figure out what I really wanted to do with my life. As you may be able to tell, I took the latter option. I did move back home, which cut down a lot of my expenses. I continued to work for about 3 months, and then I just got really fed up. I was able to save some money, in the 6 months sort of prior to me quitting, so I had some money saved up, but it's never enough. But the one thing that was different is that I was happy. So the irony is that once I got to a place where I understood my relationship to money, and how that had impacted my life thus far, I was no longer in a financial position, so to speak, to actually do something about paying off my debt. So it's a catch-22. And it's something that I'm still working on to this day. And I'm sure there are a lot of you out there, now that, are maybe feeling the same thing I'm feeling. I definitely, no matter what situation you're in, whether you choose to keep, working your 9-to-5 or whatever to, aggressively pay down your debt, or whether you, decide to follow your dreams and sort of take a pay cut for a few years while you build your business or do whatever, I understand both sides of the equation. But I just had to do what was right for me. And in making that choice, I understand that, it may take me longer to pay off my student loans, and I'm going to have that sort of cloud of debt hanging over me for a while, but for me, my happiness is more important. And even though, I'm not making as much money as I was, and I still have this debt looming, and sometimes I am broke, some months I come up short, I am happy because I'm following my passions. It's something that I feel strongly about, and I don't have someone, telling me how to live my life every day. They're not telling me how to live my life, but when I wake up in the morning, I get to decide how my day goes. And if I do work for someone, temporary, part-time, it's because I made a decision to do it, and not because I feel pressure. And obviously I can make this decision because, you know, I don't have kids. You know, my student loan debt is really the biggest debt that I have. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have a car payment. I don't have those other, you know, obligations that some of you may have. I also live with my mother, so, you know, I'm not really, you know, I pay a little bit of rent, but it's not a lot. It's not nothing. It's really nothing. So I recognize that I'm in a privileged position to be able to say, you know, F the 9 to 5, I'm going to do it my way. I will just say this, you know, like I said, my money is definitely my greatest struggle. And, you know, it took me a while to realize that it wasn't the money that itself or the amount of money. It's just the way that I feel about that money and how I managed it. You know, I understood that, you know, I did internalize some things that I learned about money that weren't right growing up. And, you know, it's going to take you some time to unlearn those things. But one thing that I have learned, you know, since really going on this journey is how to budget down to the last penny. And I had to thank Dave Ramsey's course for that. I took that course and started working on the baby steps, but once I quit my job, you know, it kind of became impossible to still meet the rest of those steps. But one thing I did take away from it is, you know, the zero-based budgeting, meaning you budget for every single penny, include every single thing. So I learned that, and learning that has also taught me really how to stretch out what money I do have for longer periods of time. And it definitely makes me double and triple question, you know, what's a priority each month and what is not. So I think those are the positives that have come out of the struggle. And I guess I'm no longer like ashamed of my money struggles, so that this is one of my struggles, because another big thing that I learned is that it doesn't come down to logics or rationale. Like, I am very intelligent, you know, I know how to add and subtract, divide, do some algebra. You know, it's not that I don't know how to sort of work the money, the figures or whatever, you know, on paper or wherever. It's really the emotional attachments to money, you know, and that's where I talk about the relationship that you have to money, what you've learned about money, what you've internalized about money, and, you know, whether you feel as if you're coming from a place of lack or a place of abundance. That also is going to inform, you know, how you manage your money. So it's just a lot of history, emotions, and things that's wrapped up into how you view money, and that definitely impacts how you use it. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I hope that someone has learned something from what I mentioned today, and I want you to comment below and tell me what is your greatest minimalist struggle, or what is your greatest struggle in general for life. It doesn't have to be minimalist related. And let me know. Thanks for watching. Peace.